Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. And today we're going to be diving deep into analyzing Ruben Amorim's press conference and everything in between. I'm going to be talking about, what he said in the presser and especially in the part one of the press conference. And you're going to see clips on our socials. But Ruben Amorim went from explaining Manchester United's goalkeeping situation. He gave injury updates, provided team news, and he outlined his desire to maintain the club's unique academy record in his Friday press conference. He was addressing journalists ahead of the 197th Manchester Derby as United traveled to City for, basically for the Manchester Derby. Now, basically, the first question that was asked him was with regards to bringing in Senne Lammens, and the question was like, how pleased were you that you got that over the line, and what do you hope for him to bring to the team? And Ruben Amorim was like, oh, we're really pleased. He's a goalkeeper with a lot of potential, and we are in the moment that the goalkeeper needs to be really strong and have a lot of experience, but we also are in the moment that we have to look to the present, but we also need to focus on the future. So it's a little bit of both, and a guy that with great potential, that is one more option to play, and he'll be ready. Now, the question is really straightforward, and Amorim's answer is really measured. What you can tell is that he's not trying to say that we don't. He's outlining obviously the goalkeeper situation, and he's trying to tell us, we need a goalkeeper that is strong in the box but also with potential. And obviously they've probably analyzed Senne Lammens, and they've been able to kind of tell that he has the potential to be strong. And obviously what the press conference was really pretty much saying was that Senne Lammens is going to be keeper for the future and all of that. So yeah, it was a good answer from him, and basically he kind of kept it measured and all of that. And then the follow-up question was with regards to experienced goalkeepers like Emi Martinez, and then what can Lammens bring in the present. And the last part of the question that the journalist snuck in was, could he start on Sunday? And Ruben Amorim, in his measured response, says, sometimes you as a club, you try to see different options. Sometimes you are able to do one option or the other. We have an option that can give us different things in the moment, but also he's a great potential to be our goalkeeper for a lot of years. So that was our choice in the end. And then the next question with regards to, which was snuck in but eventually was asked again, was, have you decided who will play in goal on Sunday? And Ruben Amorim straight up said it's Altay Bayindır that's going to play in goal. And then he said the question was yeah. Right, the answer was yeah from Ruben Amorim. And then he now said, how did you come to that decision? It's like, and they said, we know that you're not going to tell us who will, but how did you come to the decision of who will start on Sunday? And I already said this. I said this in the match preview yesterday. I said Lammens will not just come in and start. Obviously, the game. He would most definitely be on the bench. He don't just come in and throw him in the deep in the Premier League season that we are still trying to get a hold of ourselves and understand things. He just literally had his first training on Monday, and then you see other content creators come out and say why would he start Altay? Why wouldn't he start Senne? Why would he start Altay? But in truth, Altay is already one of the experienced keepers in the world, in the club. Are you saying you should start Tom Heaton? He could start either of those two, but unless Altay is injured, Altay is the next in line, number 2, right? So as Onana is gone, Altay comes in. It's simple logic, simple, sensible. Just as people who get really annoyed that Benjamin Sesko doesn't get to start. Yeah, he's barely just come. Then Senne Lammens, he's barely just come. And I see the sense in just throw him in the deep. He would eventually, learn and all that. This will be learning for him. But the truth is, the moment he makes a mistake, you guys are gonna slug him. So let's work with what we have already. So the question was, moving on to the press conference, the question was with, how did you come to that decision? And he says it's the same thing that I'll do with different positions. Of course, it's not the same, but Altay is going to continue, but because it's a different league, it's a different country, training, the trainings, balls. So we try to maintain that, and that will, and they will fight for the position. So for me, it's clear Altay will start, and it's pretty sensible. When I just gave a sensible response here, he might change his mind. You never can tell. They have one more training tomorrow or today, as well as the case may be. But then, I mean, what are we here for? We need to observe what the manager is saying and understand that there is logic to everything. Then the next question was, it's a show of faith in Altay as well, isn't it? And then the response was, I think sometimes it's to connect even with Andre. I don't know why I brought Andre Onana into this, but you would see the logic in the response. It says, even with Andre, we saw Andre Onana did very, very good. Did a very, very good season at Inter. The quality is there, but we are in the club sometimes. In the moment, things are getting harder and harder, and you can be really experienced, but in this club sometimes this pressure is so hard in every detail. Sometimes you need a change. So we believe in our goalkeepers. I believe in Altay, and he's ready to play, and he's going to play. So he was literally just saying that Andre Onana was under a lot of pressure, and he needed a new environment to actually come to his level. And you hear him say that later on towards the end of the press conference. But he said, Andre Onana needed a new environment, and he needed to needed to leave so that he can, get better and all of that. And also the pressure and the scrutiny. He's talking basically on the scrutiny of the club and everything in between. But I mean, it is what it is. Then the next question was with regards to injury updates with Mount, Cunha, and Diogo Dalot. Now, Diogo Dalot. So basically, he said, can you update us on Matheus Cunha, Mount, and Diogo Dalot? And the answer was basically, they are out for this game, and I don't know how long it's going to take. So hold on to this line. They are out for this game, and I don't know how long it's going to take, and I'm going to analyze something. He says we need these guys to be very, very competitive, to be a very, very competitive team. But we have very good players that are eager to play, so we will be competitive on Sunday. But they are out. They cannot help us in this game. They are out. They cannot help us in the game. First line, remember, I don't know how long it's going to take. The next question, which I felt was a bit not necessary, says, have you got any idea of next week, next month? Remember the first line, I don't know how long it's going to take. But the next thing you're asking is, do you have any idea? Next week, next month? He says, I don't want to say. So, it bothers me. It bothers me, but it is what it is. You see, I don't want to say, because if I talk with Cunha, if you talk with Cunha, if you catch Cunha outside, you can say that he can play this game, right? He can say that he can play this game. So I don't know. We'll manage day by day, but they are pushing really hard, and that is a good thing. So it's pointless asking the question that he had already answered, but you asked again. But it's all good. Maybe they were not listening. Just he was hell bent on the question. Jonas was hell bent on asking that question, and he asked it anyway. But it is what it is. Then another question was with regards to City. So going to Sunday's game, it's the first time in almost 5 years that United go into the derby above City in the table. How do you assess the challenge that they may present given the start they've had? Sensible question. And it was good that they had to ask that question in relation to Manchester City. So he says it's the same thing. It's a top team for me, the best coach in the league, a team that's really hard to imagine how they are going to play. They change all the time, but we are prepared for that, and we believe in our team, and I have that feeling. So it will be a very good game. We know what to do. We have one more training. The table in the moment doesn't matter. I just worry about maintaining the same principles. He also said the way we fight for every ball, the small details that sometimes we drop a little bit, not in these games. So I am more comfortable in these games, but we will be ready against a very, very good team. So he's generally saying that Manchester City are a team that changes every time. They change within the game, they change systems, they change plans and everything. So we are ready, we're prepared, we've worked hard in this game. Mind you, Ruben Amorim has a good record against Manchester City, so let's be hopeful that he continues that record and continues that momentum. That's what he sneakily said in that press conference, in that question that he answered, and he says, oh, we have one more training, which is today, I think, or maybe tomorrow, depends. Maybe tomorrow they take a rest, they train today, and then tomorrow take a rest, and then they play on Sunday. He said the small details that sometimes we drop a little bit, not in these games. So we have to maintain the standards and keep the standards really high. So we're going to observe. We're going to know what Ruben Amorim has to say in that regard. And then the next one was with regards to, you've obviously won at Etihad last season. You've obviously won at Etihad last season. How different a team are you now? And he says, I think we're a better team. Obviously, I brought the stats yesterday when I talked about how the metrics that the team is thriving on, and he says if you see any aspect, the data, we are a different team. We are ready to play the game, but we have to show on Sunday, and I think we are a better team today. So pretty much straightforward. He stated that obviously Man United are a better team, and we're thriving, right? We're thriving as a team, and we're building momentum and all of that. So hopefully we are able to deliver on the day in a game like this. Next one is with regards to, I think it was a question around the sequence of academy players, long sequence of academy players in the squad. And the question was, I'm sure you're aware that there's this long sequence of an academy player in the matchday squad. You have 4 in the squad now. Would you ensure there's an academy player, or would you not be afraid? He says, oh, we want to maintain it. I don't want to be the guy that broke that record or that idea. If you see the past, Manchester United is built on kids that grew up here and stayed here for a long time. I think that should be our goal in the future. So I will try to maintain that, and that's for sure. So basically, he's saying obviously there's definitely going to be an academy player in the squad or on the bench, and definitely an academy player is going to kick the ball too as well. That record is going to stand. We have Tyler Fredrickson, we have Kobe Menu, we have Tom Heaton, and I think we have Tyler Fredrickson, Kobe Menu, Tom Heaton, and someone from the academy that's going to be in the squad. But it is what it is. When I remember, I think the squad list was just released yesterday and all of that. So we're going to see. I think Ahmad might be classed as an academy player, but I don't know. Let's move on. I don't want to think or bother myself about it. After the Grimsby game, this was the next question. You said you'd look at things, maybe fix things in that. Fix things. Is that on the training pitches? How is that being? Maybe also talking to the hierarchy of the club. That's the question. He says, I did everything. He says, I watched a lot of games. I tried to understand different things. I talked with Jason. I talked with Omar, trying to anticipate different scenarios. We had the market closing in the break, so I tried to do everything in this kind of break to prepare the future. So I did everything. Simple, straightforward question. He worked hard. He's not going to sit around doing nothing, right? So, but it is what it is. They have to ask these questions. And the truth is, yeah, he did everything as everybody's expected that he would do. And then with regards to Hugo Viana, I don't know why this question came on, but I went and checked it. Hugo Viana played with Ruben Amorim. He's about the same age as Ruben Amorim. They both played at Braga, I think, and they both played at the Portugal national team. He's a midfielder, and I remember Hugo Viana playing for Valencia, and then I remember him in one of the English teams, I think West Ham or Fulham. I can't remember, but I remember a player like Hugo Viana. As I said, I don't understand the logic of the question, but basically when you analyze it, I had to do a research on Hugo Viana, and I found out that he played with Ruben Amorim, and at some point he basically went on loan to a couple of places and came back, and then went to Saudi Arabia, played for two clubs at Saudi Arabia, and then retired, and then eventually he became the sporting director for Manchester City. So yeah, that's why he was being asked, and obviously Ruben Amorim says, oh no, it's not, it has no influence. We have different jobs, different clubs. We are having dinner at all the time, but we don't talk about football. I'm red, he's blue, but we are really, really close friends. I hope we win on Sunday, and that's it. Pretty much straightforward answer. I don't know how it relates, but I don't know what influence, or maybe he's asking, maybe they are doing trade secrets or stuff, but whatever the case, it's not important. Another thing again he says is, can I ask about Andre? That was the question they asked him. Was there an option where he could have stayed and fought for his place? What was the thinking behind moving him on? And he says, oh, it could be that, but I think not just as a club, but also Andre. We understood that this needed a change. Straightforward, you know, everybody knew that this needed a change. The fans said this needed a change. Everybody just wanted change, basically. And sometimes he says, and sometimes it's hard to perform. Why? It's the performance, the moment, the bad luck in some moments. We also had on him, it was also hard on him, obviously, and it was hard on us. Our thinking is to have a change in goalkeepers, but I wish the best to Andre Onana. He was really good on working, trying to help the players, but also sometimes you have to have all the quality in the world, but you also need to change the environment to return to your level. And I think that was the feeling, not just for us, but for Andre as well. So pretty much, like I said earlier, Andre Onana needed a change of environment. Man United fans were already all up on him, and it was really crazy for us to, witness the meteoric downfall of a goalkeeper who basically was a good keeper in the Champions League and for Inter Milan, and even at Ajax as well. Was the Ajax goalkeeper when we played them in the final in 2017 under Mourinho and all of that. So he has a wealth of experience. He was really young then. Now he played at Barcelona Academy. Just a good keeper at the point, but he made too many mistakes. The luck wasn't on his side as well, and he also really came on really strong when he joined the club, and then eventually everything just faded away. But it is what it is. Manchester United had to do it with him. The board, the owners, the leaders, the leadership of the club, the hierarchy had to do it with him. But overall, the press conference especially this part one, had a measured response to it. When the part two comes out, you come out tomorrow, we'll probably just do a review. Might not do a review now, but you see it on the channel and all that. But yeah, Ruben Amorim was very straightforward and all of that, and very measured in his response. And I know many people wanted to hear things from him. I still don't understand why Andre Onana is still trending as of now. He's gone. Everybody should let him go. But everybody keeps talking about things he's done, things he's said, this and that. But it is what it is. We have to keep moving. We have to keep pushing. So that's pretty much all about Ruben Amorim's press conference. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about things he said. It's so sad to see that Matheus Cunha and Mason Mount are injured, and Diogo Dalot couldn't make this game. So which would mean that the lineup I put out yesterday probably Bruno will be pushed up and Menu will start in midfield, or Gatti and Casemiro, any of those two. It depends on what Amorim is thinking. I feel like we need strength and speed in that midfield. So if Bruno is pushed up, Ahmad is a wing back. Obviously, as we know, Dalot is not making that game, so Ahmad is definitely going to be wing back. And then we have Mbeumo and probably Bruno as the midfield, because Bruno can do box to box and can drop in the mid to help as well. Mbeumo will stretch the field, so it will be Dogu, Dalot, Mbeumo, Ahmad. Mbeumo. What's his name? It will be Dogu, Ahmad, Mbeumo, Bruno, and then in midfield, that's where there's conundrums: either Casemiro and Ugarte, or Casemiro and Menu. But we will see. And I believe Sesko should start since Mount is out. So yeah, we shall see. He might even start Xerxes ahead of Sesko and bring Sesko from the bench. We still might see, but it is what it is. Let's see. We'll prepare. We'll look forward to the game and know what starting lineup. I know we're going to be fascinated by the starting lineup. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.